The Sacrifice and the Promise. Dust scattered in the air as the medical transport's landing gear touched the burnt soil of Nexus 7. Captain Maya Chen squinted as the ramp hissed open, the twin suns of the alien world hitting her face with a wave of scorching heat. This marked her 5th humanitarian mission to the war-torn planet, but the devastation still made her pause. Crumbling buildings stretched across the horizon, silent monuments to a civil war that had raged for nearly a decade. "Medical team, deploy," she ordered, voice clear through the comm unit. "Remember, we have a 6-hour window in this ceasefire. Make every minute count." Lieutenant Parker moved beside her, dark skin glistening with sweat, as he carried supply crates toward the hastily erected medical tent. "Generators online in 3, Captain." The neutral zone had been established in a valley surrounded by bomb-scarred ridges. White thermal beacons marked the safe area, fragile symbols of peace in a landscape defined by conflict. Within minutes, the Earth medical team had transformed the barren ground into a functioning field hospital. Alien civilians began arriving in waves. The local Nexians, tall, spindly beings with iridescent skin that shifted colors with their emotions, carried their wounded on makeshift stretchers. A young Nexian child with 6-fingered hands clutched a tattered doll as Maya checked her injured parent. "You're safe now," Maya assured the child, her voice soft but steady. The universal translator converted her words into melodic Nexian clicks. "We're going to help your parent." Beyond the medical camp, 2 factions watched with suspicion. To the east stood representatives of the Nexian Central Authority, their formal robes billowing in the hot wind. To the west, members of the Separatist Coalition kept their distance, weapons lowered but visible. "They actually agreed to stop shooting at each other for 6 hours," Parker muttered. "That's something, I guess." Maya nodded, focusing on treating a Nexian elder whose bioluminescent veins pulsed weakly. "This is what humanity does best, Lieutenant. We find common ground, even when it seems impossible." The camp operated with mechanical precision. Maya moved between patients with practiced ease, stabilizing fractures, administering synthesized plasma compatible with Nexian biology, applying regenerative gel to radiation burns. 4 hours into their mission, they had treated over 40 civilians. Private Santiago approached from the perimeter. "Captain, movement on the North Ridge." Maya looked up, narrowing her eyes at the distant horizon. "Define movement." "Armored transports. Black insignia. Not separatists, not Central Authority." Maya's heart sank. Thoraxians. The Thoraxian Dominion, mercenaries who profited from the planet's chaos, had given their word to respect the medical mission. But their word meant nothing, as Maya had learned on previous deployments. She pressed her comm unit. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the United Earth Medical Corps. You are approaching a designated neutral zone protected under the Interstellar Aid Agreement." Her voice remained professional, betraying none of the dread building in her chest. "Please maintain your distance." No response came as the first transport crested the ridge. Dust billowed behind its massive treads as it approached the medical camp. The vehicle's black hull gleamed under the twin suns, the insignia of a crimson eye emblazoned on its side. Parker stepped beside her, hand hovering near his sidearm. "Orders, Captain." "We're medical personnel, not combat units," Maya replied, straightening her shoulders. "Protect the patients. Prepare for emergency evac if necessary." The transport halted 50 meters from the camp. Its doors slid open with a hydraulic hiss, and armored Thoraxians emerged. Their scaled skin appeared almost metallic in the harsh sunlight, their amber eyes scanning the medical camp with cold calculation. From among them stepped Commander Drazik, his height towering over his soldiers. Unlike the others, he wore no helmet, displaying the prominent bone ridges that curved from his forehead to the back of his skull, a sign of high rank in Thoraxian society. "Captain Chen," he said, voice resonating through the translator. "We meet again." Maya stepped forward, keeping her hands visible. "Commander Drazik, this is a neutral medical zone. Your presence here violates multiple treaties." Drazek tilted his head, studying her with unblinking eyes. Treaties are for those who fear consequences, Captain. We do not. These people need medical attention, Maya insisted. Many will die without it. That is precisely the problem, Drazek replied. Hope is a disease that infects stability. When these people see humans coming to their aid, they begin to believe in change. He gestured around him. Change threatens those who benefit from the current order. Behind her, Maya sensed her team moving into protective positions around the patients. The Nexian child she had treated earlier cowered behind a medical crate, wide eyes shifting from brilliant blue to terrified gray. I'll ask once, Maya said, her voice steady. Withdraw your forces and honor the ceasefire. Drazek's mouth curved into what might have been a smile. You mistake this for a negotiation. He nodded to one of his soldiers. The world slowed. The Thoraxian raised his weapon. Maya saw the Nexian child exposed, trembling behind inadequate cover. Her body moved before her mind could process, pure instinct driving her forward. The energy blast hit her squarely in the chest as she threw herself in front of the child. Pain erupted across her torso, but she didn't fall immediately. She turned, making sure her body remained between the child and the weapon. Run, she whispered to the young Nexian, whose skin had faded to ashen gray in terror. Only then did Captain Maya Chen collapse, her blood seeping into the parched soil of a world not her own. The medical camp erupted into chaos. Lieutenant Parker screamed for a medic, but Maya already knew it was too late. The blast had pierced vital organs. As her vision dimmed, she saw the camera drone hovering nearby. Standard equipment for all humanitarian missions, broadcasting her final moments across the galaxy. Her last thought was of her brother, Elias, watching this feed millions of kilometers away. The footage played on an endless loop across every screen on Earth. Captain Maya Chen, medical officer, throwing herself in front of an alien child. The blast tearing through her chest, her body crumpling to the ground as Thoraxian soldiers looked on impassively. The Nexian child, escorted to safety by retreating Earth personnel. In the orbital headquarters of Earth's Defense Command, Commander Elias Chen watched the screen in silence, his face carved from stone. Around him, officers moved with urgent purpose, but they gave him a wide berth. No one spoke to him. No one dared. Admiral Helena Reeves entered the command center, her uniform impeccably pressed despite the emergency summons. She dismissed the other officers with a single gesture. Elias, she said quietly, I've known you for 15 years. I served with Maya in the Rigel campaign. She was the best of us. Elias didn't turn from the screen. The Senate is issuing deep concerns and strongly worded statements, he said, his voice detached. They're calling for patience while diplomatic channels are explored. That's their job, Reeves replied. Diplomacy takes time. My sister didn't have time. Elias finally faced her. She died protecting someone else's child on a world that isn't ours, while those responsible watched. And they recorded it, Admiral. They wanted the galaxy to see. Reeves stepped closer, lowering her voice. What do you want, Commander? Authorization. His eyes were dry, focused. Project Nemesis. The Admiral stiffened. That ship doesn't exist, Commander. Not officially. We both know it does. Reeves studied him for a long moment. The Thoraxians are expecting a diplomatic response. Sanctions, condemnations, the standard bureaucratic dance. Then let's surprise them. After a long silence, Reeves nodded once. Report to Lunar Black Site Alpha in 6 hours. Operational command is yours. She placed a hand on his shoulder. This isn't about revenge, Elias. It's about consequence. I know exactly what this is, he replied. The memorial service was held 3 days later. Earth's flags flew at half-mast across every continent. In Geneva, outside the headquarters of the Earth Union, thousands gathered in silence, holding images of Maya Chen. Veterans stood at attention, though no order had been given. Children placed flowers beneath an impromptu memorial. From the speaker's platform, Admiral Reeves addressed the gathered crowd and the billions watching via broadcast. Captain Maya Chen embodied humanity's highest virtues, she said, her voice carrying across the hushed assembly. Compassion, courage, and an unwavering commitment to protecting life, regardless of its origin. She paused, her gaze sweeping across the crowd. We are told to wait for justice, to be patient, to trust in processes and protocols. The Admiral's voice hardened, but Captain Chen did not die by accident. She was executed while protecting an innocent child during a sanctioned humanitarian mission. She looked directly into the camera. The Senate has offered words. Earth will offer something else. In the front row, Maya's parents sat motionless, their grief a palpable force. Beside the empty chair that should have held Elias Chen sat a single white flower. Far from Earth, beneath the icy surface of Europa, a ship that officially didn't exist prepared for launch. The UES Reckoning rested in its secret berth, its matte black hull absorbing light rather than reflecting it. No registry numbers marked its surface. No insignia identified its origins. It was a ghost ship, designed for operations that would never be acknowledged. Commander Elias Chen stood on the bridge, surrounded by a crew hand-selected for this mission. Each had volunteered immediately. Many had served with Maya. Others had lost comrades to Thraxian aggression and other conflicts. Final systems check, Elias ordered, his voice level. Lieutenant Commander Samira Kwan, tactical officer and second-in-command, responded from her station. All systems nominal. Stealth systems at full capacity. Weapons primed. Navigation locked for Nexus system, reported Lieutenant Y at the helm. Jump drive spooling. Ready in 30 seconds. Elias activated the ship-wide comm. All hands, this is Commander Chen. In moments, we will depart on a mission unlike any other in Earth's history. He paused, choosing his words carefully. We go not as conquerors or avengers, but as instruments of justice. Precise. Measured. Inevitable. He looked at the empty space on the view screen where stars would soon appear. Everyone aboard this ship volunteered because you believed in what Captain Maya Chen stood for. She died protecting those who couldn't protect themselves. We now carry that legacy forward. The Reckoning's engines hummed to life, a sound felt more than heard. Engage, Elias commanded. Space folded around the ship as it vanished from the solar system. In the operations center beneath Geneva, a single notification appeared on Admiral Reeves' secure terminal. Recon deployed. DESTNHEON, NEXUS system. State US, undeclared. The countdown to consequence had begun. Operation Swift Justice. The Reckoning emerged from hyperspace without a ripple, its advanced stealth systems absorbing all detection signatures. Hanging in the darkness above Nexus 7, the matte black vessel was virtually invisible against the backdrop of space, a shadow among shadows. On the bridge, Commander Elias Chen studied the tactical display. Nexus 7 rotated slowly beneath them, its scarred surface marred by decades of conflict. Orbital platforms, outdated and poorly maintained, circled the planet in lazy arcs. No detection alerts, Lieutenant Commander Kwan reported. Their systems haven't registered our arrival. Deploy reconnaissance drones, Elias ordered. I want full planetary surveillance within the hour. Lieutenant Wee nodded. Deploying stealth drones now. Across Nexus 7's surface, multiple conflicts simmered. The Central Authority's forces clashed with separatist militias in scattered engagements, but both were mere puppets dancing to the Thraxian string pullers. Commander Drazik and his mercenaries had transformed a civil dispute into a profitable industry of pain. Target identification beginning, Kwan announced as data streamed in from the deployed drones. Mapping Thraxian installations now. The holomap in the center of the bridge illuminated with red markers indicating confirmed Thraxian positions. Military outposts, command centers, weapons depots, each identified, analyzed, and categorized by threat level. "Sir," Communications Officer Park called from her station. "Preparing broadcast on your order." Elias stood from his command chair and moved to the center of the bridge, on screen. The message was simple, transmitted simultaneously to every communication device on the planet, civilian and military alike. "This is Commander Elias Chen of Earth, to Commander Drazik of the Thraxian Dominion. You have 1 hour to surrender yourself to Earth custody for crimes against humanity in violation of interstellar law. After that hour, there will be nowhere on this planet you can hide." The transmission ended without flourish or threat, just the steady countdown of a timer now displayed on screens planet-wide. 1 hour. In the fortified command center of the Thraxian base at Corvin Ridge, alarms blared as communication officers scrambled to identify the source of the transmission. "Unknown vessel detected in high orbit," shouted a junior officer, his scaled features contorted in confusion. No mass signature, no energy readings, but visual confirmation shows something. Commander Drazik stood at the central console, his amber eyes narrowed as he studied the grainy image of a black silhouette against the stars. Earth had sent a single ship, one vessel, to challenge the entire Thraxian presence on Nexus 7. "A bluff," he declared, mandibles clicking in contempt. "The humans are soft. They hide behind diplomacy and morality. This is merely theater to appease their public." His second-in-command, Vrex, approached cautiously. "Commander, perhaps we should consider." "Consider what?" Drazik snapped. "Surrendering to these mammals because they sent one ship and a message." He turned to his communications officer. "Send a response. Tell them Thraxians do not surrender. Tell them their pathetic display changes nothing." But as Drazik turned away, a flicker of doubt crossed his features. The humans had never responded like this before. Always protocols, always diplomatic channels. This was different. Aboard the Reckoning, the response from the surface came through clearly. "Sir," Park reported, "Commander Drazik has declined to surrender and has transmitted. Well, it's essentially a string of insults and threats." Elias nodded, unsurprised. "Time remaining." 47 minutes, sir." "Commence targeting sequence," he ordered. "Priority Alpha targets first. Tactical, prepare kinetic strike packages." Lieutenant Commander Kwan's fingers moved across her console with practiced precision. "Targeting Thraxian command base at Corvin Ridge. Kinetic package armed." The Reckoning's main weapons weren't energy-based, too easily detected, too easily traced. Instead, the ghost ship utilized tungsten rods, accelerated to near-relativistic speeds. Simple physics transformed these metal cylinders into weapons of devastating precision. All non-combatants cleared from target zone. Elias asked. "Confirmed, sir," responded Kwan after a moment. "Civilian presence minimal to none in all priority Alpha targets." Elias nodded. "We wait until the deadline." The countdown continued. On the surface of Nexus 7, panic spread through Thraxian ranks. Some dismissed the threat as human posturing. Others, veterans who had faced Earth forces before, were less certain. In remote villages, Nexian civilians gathered around communication terminals, watching the countdown with mingled fear and something long forgotten: hope. The footage of Captain Maya Chen's sacrifice had circulated widely, despite Thraxian efforts to suppress it. Many recognized the name Chen: brother and sister, healer and warrior. Inside the Thraxian bunker at Corvin Ridge, Drazik paced the command floor. 30 minutes, Vrex reported nervously. "Should we evacuate non-essential personnel?" "And show weakness," Drazik snarled. "Set all defense systems to maximum. If that human ship so much as twitches, I want it vaporized." But the minutes ticked down, and the black ship remained motionless, silent, waiting. 1 hour. The timer reached 0 across every screen on Nexus 7. For 3 heartbeats, nothing happened. Then, without warning or sound, The Thraxian command center at Corvin Ridge ceased to exist. The kinetic rod struck with such velocity that it created no explosion, only a perfect cylindrical hole punched through layers of reinforced bunker. The impact energy converted to heat so intense it vaporized everything within 100-meter radius. The mountain itself seemed to shudder, then collapse inward. 7 seconds later, the Thraxian communications hub at Vrennar Heights disappeared in similar fashion. Then the weapons depot at Sarnath Valley. Then the fleet hangar at Dresner Basin. Each strike was surgical, precise, targeting only military infrastructure. No civilian areas, no collateral damage. Just the methodical, implacable erasure of Thraxian power centers. On the Bridge of the Reckoning, Elias watched the tactical display without expression as red markers blinked out one after another. Primary targets neutralized, reported Quan. Moving to secondary targets. Sir, Park called out, we're receiving multiple surrender signals from Thraxian outposts across the northern hemisphere. Elias nodded. Acknowledge but continue as planned. This ends only one way. The precision strikes continued, systematically dismantling the Thraxian military presence on Nexus 7. Each impact sent a clear message to the watching galaxy. Earth did not need fleets or armies. One ship was enough when wielded with absolute precision. Commander Drazik was not at Corvin Ridge when it was struck. He had departed 20 minutes earlier, escorted by his personal guard to a hidden bunker beneath the Scarlet Cliffs, a location known to only his most trusted officers. From the underground command center, he watched in disbelief as reports flooded in. Base after base, outpost after outpost, wiped from existence with surgical precision. This is impossible, he muttered, scales bristling along his neck. One ship cannot. Commander, interrupted his security chief. We have a problem. On the security monitor, 3 black-clad figures moved through the outer perimeter of the bunker. Human operators in stealth suits, their movements fluid and precise. They disabled the guards without raising an alarm, their actions economical, rehearsed. How did they find this place? Drazik hissed, drawing his sidearm. Who knew about this location? His officers exchanged uneasy glances, but no one answered. Seal all internal doors, Drazik ordered. Activate defense protocols. But the bunker's systems were already compromised. One by one, the security feeds went dark. The reinforced doors remained open. The emergency beacons stayed silent. Prepare for combat, Drazik snarled, backing toward his private escape tunnel. Hold them off while I... The lights cut out. In the darkness, Drazik fumbled for the tunnel entrance, but found only smooth wall where the door should have been. When emergency lighting flickered on seconds later, he was alone in the command center. His officers had vanished, whether fled or neutralized. He couldn't tell. A figure stepped through the main doorway. Human, male, dressed in black combat gear with no insignia. Commander Elias Chen. Commander Drazik, Elias said, his voice calm. In accordance with Article 17 of the Interstellar Criminal Code, I am placing you under arrest for war crimes, violation of ceasefire agreements, and the murder of Captain Maya Chen. Drazik raised his weapon, amber eyes narrowed to slits. You think this changes anything? Kill me, and another takes my place. The strong will always prey on the weak. It is the natural order. We're not going to kill you, Elias replied. You're going to stand trial on Earth. The galaxy will watch as justice is administered through law, not violence. He stepped closer. That's the difference between us. Drazik's finger tightened on the trigger. There's another difference. I don't hesitate. He fired, but the shot never reached its target. A stun round from Lieutenant Commander Quan, positioned in the shadows, struck Drazik in the side. The Thraxian commander collapsed, his weapon clattering to the floor. Elias looked down at the unconscious form. Secure him for transport. We're done here. Across Nexus 7, Thraxian forces surrendered en masse. Without central command, without their fortified positions, they found themselves suddenly vulnerable to the very factions they had manipulated for years. The Central Authority and Separatist Coalition, enemies for a decade, found common cause in expelling the mercenaries who had profited from their conflict. Peace talks, impossible just days earlier, began tentatively as both sides realized how thoroughly they had been exploited. In orbit, the reckoning remained visible now, its stealth systems deactivated. A message to all who watched: Earth no longer hid in the shadows. 1 week later, in the Grand Chamber of the Interstellar Senate, the representatives of 100 worlds sat in uncomfortable silence. Ambassador Reich of Earth stood at the central podium, his posture unyielding as accusations flew from various delegates. This unilateral action undermines the very foundation of interstellar law, declared the representative from Vega Prime, his tentacles waving in agitation. Earth has shown contempt for diplomatic process, added the Centaurian delegate. These actions set a dangerous precedent. Ambassador Reich waited until the chamber quieted before speaking. Precedent, he said, the word hanging in the air. Let's discuss precedent. He activated the holodisplay. Captain Maya Chen appeared, the moment frozen just before she threw herself in front of the Nexian child. The precedent was set when a medical officer was executed during a humanitarian mission. Reich continued. The precedent was set when this chamber responded with nothing but words. He looked around the room, meeting every gaze without wavering. Earth did not seek approval for our response, because this chamber has demonstrated repeatedly that it values process over justice, debate over action. The Arcturian representative stood, voice resonating through translator fields, and who appointed Earth as the galaxy's judge, jury, and executioner. No one, Reich replied simply. We appointed ourselves protectors of our people. If that makes you uncomfortable, perhaps you should consider protecting yours. As the chamber erupted into fresh argument, Ambassador Reich stepped away from the podium. The message had been delivered. Earth would no longer wait for permission to defend its own. The trial of Commander Drazik was broadcast throughout inhabited space. Evidence was presented methodically. Witnesses testified. The footage of Captain Chen's final moments was shown without commentary, needing none. When the verdict came, guilty on all charges, few were surprised. The sentence, life imprisonment in Earth's maximum security facility on Titan, with no possibility of parole. In the aftermath, the galaxy found itself adjusting to a new reality. Earth, long considered the diplomatic moderator of interstellar affairs, had revealed another face, one of precise, controlled strength, not conquering, not dominating, but unwavering in defense of its principles. On Nexus 7, the reconstruction began slowly. Earth medical ships returned, this time with additional security that proved unnecessary. Where Thraxian outposts had stood, new medical facilities and schools emerged. The Nexians, both Central Authority and former separatists, worked alongside human volunteers. In a small village near what had once been Corvin Ridge, a memorial stood, not grandiose or imposing, but simple. A stone pillar carved with two names, Captain Maya Chen and Commander Elias Chen. Beneath the names, words in both English and Nexian script. One who healed, one who brought justice, both who showed us the true face of humanity. Each day, Nexian children placed flowers at its base. Their skin glowed bright blue, the color of hope. In Earth's Defense Command, Commander Elias Chen stood before Admiral Reeves, his mission report complete. The reckoning has been returned to Europa base, he stated. Crew debriefed and reassigned. Reeves nodded. And you, Commander? What now? Elias looked out the viewport at the blue sphere of Earth. Maya once told me that humanity does what it does best when we find common ground. He paused. I think I'd like to help with that. She would be proud, Reeves said quietly. I know, Elias replied. That's enough. Across the stars, the message rippled outward. Humanity protected its own, yes, but also those who couldn't protect themselves. With precision, with determination, with unwavering resolve. The galaxy had been put on notice. Earth would no longer stand by while innocents suffered. It would act, swiftly, decisively, and without apology. Not with vengeance, but with judgment. Not with hatred, but with fire.